So this is today's route from where we are here to where we're trying to go. Doesn't really show you much because it also has all of the different boats that are in New York City and other hazards. So not very helpful, but essentially we're going up the East River. We'll cross under all of the bridges that cross that, and then trying to end up in Port Washington. So yeah, see where we go. Yeah, so what we were looking at here, hang on, the notion is that we have to time our journey with the tides. So because, well, you explain, you're the guy who knows what's...
Well, we'll be going up the East River, and at the top of the East River is a place called Hell's Gate. That's where all the water that's coming out of or into Long Island is going through a very narrow channel, and it gets up, you can get up to 6 knots of current. And our boat at maximum speed with a full engine redlining will go about 6 knots. So you have to time it so that you're going with the tide. So we're going to time this hopefully so that when we reach the mouth of the East River near the battery, the tide will be coming in. Instead of having to push against 6 knots, we'll get a 3 or 4 knot push up the river. Obviously the river is going to still flow down towards the ocean, but it'll be a real boost to us. And a couple years ago, my wife and I, Pat and I, didn't time it exactly right, and we started into the East River, and it was like we could not make any progress at all. We were basically going backwards, so we just had to back out and just idle, wait around for an hour until the tide turned. But I think this time we've got it right, and it should be a beautiful ride because we're going to be going right up past Manhattan and all the beautiful buildings and the skyline, Brooklyn Bridge. What else?
Yeah, so well, the Verrazano Narrows is first, and then I'll pop on and show the different bridges because those are kind of cool, and any buildings we recognize that we can point out. But we definitely spent the morning getting breakfast and cleaning the boat up and doing all that stuff because we really couldn't go anywhere until the tide started to shift, so it gave us a little reprieve.
Yeah. So I think the tide is about was it 1 o'clock I think today, right?
Something like that, yeah.
So, yeah. So anyway, we should have a good day. Our goal is to get to Port Jefferson, which is a bay. I keep it confused. No matter where you get lost.
Those founding fathers, guys, yeah.
They get confused. Port Washington is basically a bay where there are several anchorages, so that's where we plan to spend the night. So it'll be a fairly easy day. I think we'll say 18 miles, something like that. So it should be a nice day. The weather is fantastic right now.
Yeah, our GPS says it's 27 miles. So,
27.
Says we'll get there around 7 o'clock tonight, but we'll see and check in and hopefully have some pretty sights for you. So behind me we have the Verrazano Bridge, named for, I think, the first European that we know of to come into the New York harbor here. Guess we don't know the first non-European's name, or we didn't bother to find out. But it is the bridge that spans Brooklyn to Staten Island and connects the Narrows there as you come into the lower part of, I think it's New York Bay and New York Harbor, both. So that's the first bridge we're going to come under. And there's some other cool stuff over here, so let me show you. As you come over here, you can see the bridge. So that's the Staten Island side. But over here at the base of it, it'd be cool if I would love to explore it one day. This I think is the Battery Weed. I don't know why it's called that, but it's a couple hundred years old and a fort that obviously dates back to early European American life. So that's pretty neat. And then just some more close-up of the bridge here. Yeah, we'll be going underneath, and then you can see back here there's some shipyards and port type paraphernalia. And we should be coming up next is probably the Statue of Liberty. So I'll check in when we see her. So here we are coming into the city. Sorry, it's hard to stabilize here on the front of the boat. But you can see Manhattan here, and of course the large building there is One World Trade Center, or Freedom Plaza or whatever it is. And over here, of course, is Jersey City. And then you zoom in here. Maybe I can. Okay, I'm back. I almost dropped my phone in the ocean. That would have been bad. But yeah, here she is, the Statue of Liberty. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see. And I've been past her before, going the other direction when we came down the Hudson several years ago. But the notion that, obviously not under the same circumstances, but I'm seeing the Statue of Liberty by boat, you know, coming in the way so many people have seen this country for the first time. It is pretty special and pretty moving. Yeah, so I don't think we're gonna get much closer to her, but obviously we'll be going through here. Through here. There's the Battery at the south end of Manhattan, and many, many bridges to come. Nice thing about this trip is that they're used to much bigger boats than us, so we don't need to wait for anyone to open anything. And then over here we have Brooklyn, and we'll see more of her in a bit. Sorry, Brooklyn and Queens. So Dad, we're passing the Statue of Liberty. I just came back from the foredeck there. And you had mentioned to me earlier that you had some observations about what you'd seen other people say about coming into this area.
Yeah, right. So, occasionally I watch vlogs of cruisers from other countries sailing into the United States and coming into New York Harbor. And it's amazing the thrill they get when they arrive here and they see the Statue of Liberty. And I think, obviously we're going through some pretty tough times, but I think we need to appreciate what America stands for a lot of other people, and I think we can't let that go.
Yeah, thank you. I agree. So yeah, just to orient you guys, here's the view from the cockpit, which is why I went up forward. But yeah, there she is, the Statue of Liberty. Little quick orientation as we come into the city. This is Governor's Island. I looked up what this structure is because it looked really cool, and it's actually the ventilation shaft for the tunnel beneath us, which is kind of neat. I think that's really cool. And then over here we have the Battery, and if you see where those sort of three arches are on the right, that is the Maritime Building out of which some of the ferries leave. You can see the Staten Island ferry far left, but the other day when I was going down to Atlantic Highlands, the ferry left out of that building on the right, which was quite beautiful. And then soon we'll be heading to the Brooklyn Bridge, and hopefully we'll see it better in a little bit. Okay, here we are coming up on the famous Brooklyn Bridge. I am not paid to advertise this, but of course the Ken Burns documentary about said bridge is very informative. And then I mean, it's cheesy, but it does increase my respect being in the presence of it. But yeah, this is a beautiful part of town. This cool welcome sign. There's these parks. People are out. I almost fell out of my chair. Recreating. So, yeah, it's a pretty monumental feat of engineering. I can't remember the details of like how far down they had to go and all that, but it's pretty cool. I'm gonna pan over to look at the other side here. Here's Manhattan again. And here's my dad again. How you holding up?
I'm doing good. It keeps you busy, a lot of traffic. It's Sunday, right? Yeah.
It is Sunday. Yeah, so a lot of the traffic, there's lots of ferries, but also lots of kind of tourist, looks like commercial, not business, but like taking people. There's a lot of jet skis too.
Yeah.
You can see out here, seems hazardous, but that's all right. Got a nice carousel over here. So yeah, people are out having a good time. Oh, here comes the jet skis. Yeah. So many bridges. This one, last time we went through here, it was dark, so I couldn't get all the detail, but this is also quite beautiful.
Relatively fast.
Well, yeah, we took the C Streak ferry that goes directly from Highlands, New Jersey, to the City Field, the World's Fair Marina landing, and it takes you directly to the Mets game. And so that was really cool, and it's quite fast. 75 minutes from New Jersey, Sandy Hook area, but it's fast, and a lot of it was during the dark, so we didn't see a lot of this going up. But yeah, it's a quite extraordinary place for the amount of like history and the number of people who live here.
We could be sailing.
We could be sailing. Doesn't look like the most comfortable ride, but we could be. Yeah. Oh, as you can see, lots of traffic. So I'm gonna help navigate here now. Just wanted to point out a couple other things. This is Roosevelt Island. Looks like a really cool park. There's this sort of smallpox hospital that's been turned into like a garden of ruins, or ruin garden. Never been on the island, but it looks really neat. And then here's the Ed Koch Queensboro Memorial Bridge or something like that. Kind of a neat area. But as you can see, we're coming up on, you can see the Chrysler building back there in between. A bunch of people out for a Sunday stroll. Yeah. The traffic has died down a little bit because we're past where most of the ferry traffic and recreational stuff has been. But look back at the city. But yeah, reminder that New York is really, really big, especially when you're moving through it at the speed we are, which currently is actually
Look at that.
really, really fast. 7.34 knots.
How many miles an hour is that?
7 point something miles per hour. And of course, the boat engine by itself cannot really do that. So this is the river helping us, or the tide river. And special prize for anyone who can tell me what I always think of, what movie I think of when I see those 3 smokestacks. All right, folks. So here is the promised peril. This is the HELLGATE. Wahaha. It's pretty treacherous. So this is apparently the narrowest part of this passage through New York. As my dad pointed out, he is currently piloting, but he mentioned that coming through here, it is still quite deep, but with prior equipment like a square rigger or any less maneuverable craft, this would be a lot more difficult because you're much less maneuverable, as I just said. So yeah, but I do think it's very amusing to call this a Hellgate, because of course as the river narrows, you know, we've got the tide coming with us, but the further you go, the less influence the tide has, and the more influence you have from the current, which of course at this time is coming the opposite way. So you're gonna get cross currents probably, and different forces at work. But yep, just wanted you to see it. It's gotten a little quieter out here. Still some boat traffic. But yeah, we are coming up. Still several hours before we reach Port Washington. I'm gonna close down and hold on to this wake. Just to be more completist about the bridges, I think the one I didn't mention, the pretty blue metal one, was the Manhattan Bridge. This here is the Robert F. Kennedy Bridge, Senior. And down here, this red tinged one is the Hellgate Bridge. So I guess this is that narrow portion I mentioned. Not the part I was talking through, but you know, I don't want to be talking through the Hellgate. We gotta figure that out. Also, not to be confused with the Hellmouth. I think those are two different things, but I guess I'm about to find out. I'll catch you back later.